in the movie Crocodile Dundee, Dundee has been transported to the subways of New York. And there he encounters a person who is going to take his valuables. And he has his knife there. And Dundee looks at him, he says, "What is that?" "That is a knife, and I'm going to cut you, sucker, if you don't give me your wallet." And Dundee steps back. And he laughs. He says, "That isn't a knife. This is a knife." Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, friends, guests, and so on and so forth. I have a problem. I like knives. I cook a lot, I prepare a lot, so I like to have this cutting edge stuff. And as you can see, there are a lot of knives here. Could you pass me one of those cups, please? I'm not going to perform any tricks, you know, like throwing the cup in the air and cutting it with a sword, but I'm going to have a small little drink. I hope I don't get too maudlin in my presentation. Wow. Over the years, I've collected an incredible arsenal of knives. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I couldn't bring them all, and quite frankly, some of them I wouldn't want to bring out into public. Everybody has knives like this. Handle is broken. It kind of looks like it's been around for 200 years. They're not very sharp. You could probably carve peanut butter with them. And those are part of our way of life. They come in different sizes, they come in different shapes, and we most always arrive at our favorite knife. That one that feels comfortable, that you can keep sharp. You wouldn't pry anything. You wouldn't pry open a window that was stuck with paint, but you could do a lot of things with it, and this will handle most things. But I want to talk about what's reality. And the reality is that most of you have a selection of knives. They may be in a butcher block, they may be in something like this. It doesn't make any difference. But most of them all include a cleaver. Now, here's a useful tool. Anybody done any cleaving lately? It's probably more symptomatic of 100 years ago when we used to chop up our food. You know, they're heavy, they got a big backbone on them, and you know, if you don't have anything to cleave, you can always take that small, innocent little bulb of garlic, set it down there and squash it or whack it. That's about the only thing I know that a cleaver is good for in today's world. You know, there are a lot of other things that have morphed out there. Now, there's an interesting knife. It's not particularly sharp, but it's got a flexible blade. You can do a lot of things with it. You can spread butter with it, you can cut vegetables, you cut meat. Not very good for breads and so on and so forth. How about that little devil? Whoa. What would you possibly use that for? It's got a serrated edge, it's sharp as can be, got holes in it. You know, picking olives out of a bowl, I suppose. I've never figured out what I should do with this knife. But I saw it and I said, I just have to have it. In today's technology, things have morphed into stuff like this. Looks like an Asian knife of some type. They generally are longer. They come in different colors. They're sharp mostly, and they're very, very difficult to keep sharp. Who doesn't like cheese? I don't know of anybody. The problem is that the technology for cheese has not evolved like the rest of it has. We've got these nylon jobs that have little waves in them that separate the cheese, and they have knives like this. Wow. That little devil is sharp, and it cuts cheese like you wouldn't believe. But it's incredibly difficult to clean. Now, who likes bagels? Raise your hand. Have you ever had a bagel that wasn't sliced? You need a bagel slicer. Now, this particular bagel slicer is a right-handed bagel slicer. If you turn the blade around, it can be a left-handed bagel slicer, too. Wow. Wow. Now, there are many of us that go out and buy fresh rolls, breads, bakeries, whatever. And when you're using a serrated bread knife, they just don't work. It's like squashing marshmallows. They just don't cut. However, this knife is the cat's meow. It's sold by a pampered chef for $20. This may be the sharpest knife that I own. It'll cut through fresh hot dog buns or hamburger buns like you wouldn't believe. And of course, the real benefit is it'll slice tomatoes. Slice them really, really thin. Now, I've got other tools, and I call them tools because they allow me to do the interesting things in life. We got a mincer. We got one that came from my great-grandmother. Looks more like a medieval tool of some type, but it's a great mincer. Now, I'm always looking for the next tool, and you just never know where it's going to come. And about 6 weeks ago, I went out to the Asian store. Now, you've been in the Asian store, I know that. But the Asian store is a place where they've got stuff. And I was loading up, I was checking out, and I saw this. Wow. I looked at that, I grabbed a hold of it. It's got the heft of the cleaver. It's got the style and the point of a favorite knife. You can rock it. You can squash garlic with it. You can do whatever you want. It was only $9. I think I found my new knife. Now, having knives has responsibilities, and you've got to keep them sharp. If you don't keep them sharp, you're going to cut yourself. You're going to cut yourself with a sharp knife, but it doesn't seem to hurt as much. It may bleed more, but it doesn't hurt as much. So, keep your stuff sharp. It's kind of like your mind at Toastmasters. Keep it sharp, and you'll find you'll be able to cut through the stuff in life you never imagined. There is a new thing out. It's called the Samurai Shark. It's the most interesting knife sharpener I've ever seen. And it works very simply like this. You put it on the edge of the table. You take your semi-sharp knife. You draw it just like that. And you can hear it sharpening away. So, fellow Toastmasters, enjoy your Christmas holidays. And when you go to eat that turkey that Christy fixed, make sure you have a really sharp knife. Mr. Toastmaster.